Good morning, Las Vegas, Nevada. Vegas strong and fearless. It's been a good day for me. It's continue. You know, I was at the park this morning, early in the morning, and I was thinking about a new freshness, a new day, a new beginning, a new chapter in your life, a new journey in your life. Every day, something that comes in your life is for a reason. It's for a purpose. It's not out of coincidence. I do a lot of weddings, you know. My background is in theology, and I have another business. It's a wedding business. And in this particular business, I talk about individuals that are together, about to get married. And I mentioned to them that I don't believe in luck or chance or coincidence. I believe in purpose. And your life has a purpose. What is that purpose? I don't know. But my favorite author, Napoleon Hill, talks about a definiteness of purpose. It's a very, very important to have a purpose in life. And every day, as you walk, as you journey in your journey, there's a purpose. Look for that purpose, or put that purpose together, and it will begin to come forth. Well, as you know, every week I begin the show by saying the formless substance, my God and I are one. The Son, the formless substance in Jesus Christ, and I are one. The Spirit of God, the formless substance, and I are one. Very important to recognize that this mind is connected. This mind is in touch with the formless substance. Now you can accomplish a lot of things without the Almighty, a lot of things without the formless substance. But it's that much better if you have that formless substance in your mind and walking in that journey, recognizing that you're not alone. You can't do it alone, by the way. You need that formless substance. This morning, switching gears a little bit, we're going to be talking about the continuation, and with this I will end. I guess you can call it part 2 on this particular subject, on the power of negative thinking. Now, I try to look at life not on a common fashion, but sometimes looking at life as approaching it from a way that maybe the average person does not approach it. And that's why in this particular subject, the power of negative thinking, it's usually the power of positive thinking. One of my favorite authors, Norman Vincent Peale, years ago wrote a book, The Power of Positive Thinking. And I submitted to that book, I listened to that book, I read that book, I tried to understand that book, I lived in a positive fashion. But then the other day, that revelation came to me as I was meditating. Think about the power of negative thinking. It's going to help you. And it will help you in a fashion, in a good way. Now, when I mention the power of positive, or rather the power of negative thinking, I'm talking about the influence, not so much submitting to the negative, but being aware that the influence is there. So it's not the negative electrical energy that you're going to walk like some of the crazy folk, like a Hitler or like Stalin, or like some people that were evil. No, because they submitted to the negative teaching and that negative influence. Don't submit to the negative influence, but be aware of that negative influence. And learn to say no. Now, as I mentioned, I'm a theologian. I've worked in church most of my life. I've taught the Word of God. And by the way, look at my other show, The Living Kingdom, church.com. That's going to help you. We deal there with the spiritual. Here we're dealing with the holistic. But in that journey, I try to teach the importance in walking in the things of God and walking in the positive, but being aware of the negative. And in this particular show, I want you to be aware of the negative influence in your life. You need it, the negative power. As I mentioned a while back, I was watching TV and I put my click on and I couldn't get the TV on. And I said, what's going on? And I looked at the remote control, the negative battery was not connected. I connected it and I saw the television show. I saw the game. Car, positive, negative. You need the negative to start the car. You need negative that we find in this world to move forward. Because, as I mentioned, my involvement in church was teaching, and the hardest thing for a Christian to say is no. Because in Christian life, in Christian churches, everybody expects you to say yes. Well, you're a Christian, you're supposed to say yes. No. There are things in Christian churches and in Christian teachings that you've got to learn to say no. Bring it back to our life. Maybe you're not a Christian, maybe you're not a believer, but still you need to understand that the negative influence, you need to learn how to say no. No to drugs, no to cigarettes, no to alcohol, no to pornography, no to violence, and the list can go on and on and on. So that negative influence can influence you in a good fashion or in a bad fashion. Now, keep in mind that negative influence is a means to an end. It's around everywhere. You wake up in the morning, you're walking life, you're going to encounter negative news, you're going to encounter negative people as they try to influence you, and they will influence you. And that's why I mentioned in the past, stay away from that stuff. Stay away from that garbage. That's why I don't watch news. Nothing but negative news comes your way, and it will influence you. It will change you in a bad fashion. Just be aware of it. Now, as I mentioned, negative is an end, is a means to an end. If you go to particular military institutions, sometimes you'll find a fence around that institution and its electrical wire says, don't touch the wire. Ah, negative, do not. It's a means to an end. So a negative idea, if you allow it to, can be good for you, can help you build your character. The problem is, here's the problem. By the way, how much time I have here? All right, I got a few minutes. Here's the problem. We got the positive, we got the negative, the influence. Because the positive will influence you too. And you want to be around that positive influence. It may be a church, or it may be individuals, it may be family, it may be books. Remember I told you there's a positive and a negative. You want to submit to the positive influence and not so much the negative. But the problem occurs, we live in a world where there's positive and there's negative. Most of us move into the middle. I call that the lukewarm journey, the lukewarm way of living. I don't want to be hot and I don't want to be cold. I prefer to be in the middle. I would take the positive, I would take the negative. And sometimes you're influenced and you're not even aware that you're being influenced by the negative. And maybe you're not even aware that you're being influenced by the positive. Be aware. Every day you should begin your journey. Make me aware of life. Make me aware of what I hear. Make me aware of what I see. Make me aware who I'm with. Make me aware of what I'm reading. Because it's either going to be a positive influence or it's going to be a negative influence. Be aware of the power of negative thinking. If you're lukewarm, in fact, as I mentioned, as a theologian, there's a particular book in the Bible. It's called the Book of Revelation. And John the author writes on this different subjects, talking about different churches in the Bible. But he calls one particular church, your problem is, he's talking to this church, you're lukewarm. You're not hot. You're not cold. You're not hot for God. You're not cold for the world. But you are lukewarm. And that's the way we live sometimes. We're lukewarm individuals. We go too much sometimes either way. The power of negative thinking. You're connected to this formless substance, as I began my show mentioning the importance to connect yourself to the formless substance. And once you're connected to this formless substance, you have a choice. You can allow yourself to block positive influences or even negative influence. I try to live in a fashion where I block anything negative that comes into my life that will influence me in a wrong way of building character. And I want you to be the same way. As you journey through life, as you journey wherever you find yourself, this virus can come and it can affect you in a negative fashion if you allow it to, if you submit to that disease. But if you allow it to influence you in a good fashion, you're going to take care of yourself. You're going to be aware of cleanliness. You're going to be aware of when and when not to wash your hands. This negative virus stuff is good in a sense, because everywhere you go is clean now. Everywhere people are aware of the sicknesses that maybe they can give you, and it could be a good thing. This negative idea of virus. Be aware of it. The power of negative thinking. God bless you. Go to my homepage, contribute, say hello to Rudy, that's me, on your email. The more you contribute, the more we can get the show out to the world. Next week, we're going to have a different show, and we look forward to hearing from you, or you watching this show. The power of negative thinking. God bless you. We'll see you in a week.